collection coming to us here in America from U.S. TV. Keep it on, keep it going, keep it growing. Stay guided with Guidus TV. Can you imagine it's our 10th anniversary, Guidus TV on the air for 10 years already. Wow. And we want to keep going and growing. And how you can do that, join us. Be part of what we are doing with Recite on TV, Bridge to Faith, Simple Reminders with Abu Hafsa, all of these great programs and more coming to you 24 hours a day, no commercials, no advertising, just pure Islam with Quran every hour, with reminders throughout the day what the Hadith teaches. These programs are the only collection coming to us here in America from America, and you can be part of it. Guide US TV. Keep it on, keep it going, keep it growing. Stay guided with Guidus TV. Can you imagine it's our 10th anniversary, Guidus TV on the air for 10 years already. Wow. And we want to keep going and growing. And how you can do that, join us. Be part of what we are doing with Recite on TV, Bridge to Faith, Simple Reminders with Abu Hafsa, all of these great programs and more coming to you 24 hours a day, no commercials, no advertising, just pure Islam with Quran every hour, with reminders throughout the day what the Hadith teaches. These programs are the only collection coming to us here in America from America, and you can be part of it. Guide US TV. Keep it on, keep it going, keep it growing. Stay guided with Guidus TV. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and we're coming to you almost live from our studios somewhere in Southern California. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. And if you would like to share this, that would be highly appreciated, and we'll get right on with our program tonight. We have a couple of real special guests to us. And first of all, we'd like to introduce them. And first, and maybe, I don't know about foremost, but hey, here's Dr. Sultan. Assalamu alaikum, Doctor. MashaAllah. And we also have with us Dr. Adil down in Florida. And we got a report from you, Doctor. Tell us about that.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you. It's getting a little chilly, but it's pleasant. So it's it keeps moving, from warm like summertime into a little chilly, but not in the freezing zone. So we cannot complain. Alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah. Okay. Well, let's get on with our program right away, if we can. I think that would be a good idea for us right now. Dr. Sultan, salam alaikum. Where should we pick up with? What do we have tonight?
One of the yesterday's theme was building up immunity to prevent COVID infection and so many other diseases.
So you're saying we need to build our immune system, is that right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And what's the first thing we should look at?
There are several things we can do. We can go one by one, but it gives you a general trio of essential basis for building up good immunity.
Yeah, go ahead.
Clean air, clean food, and clean water. These are the absolute essential.
Air,
Clean air.
Food and water. Okay.
Clean food and clean water.
So are we going to start with eating healthy?
Yes, I want to start
Okay.
eating healthy.
All right, let's go with that. I put that up on the screen so that you'll know that while you're talking, we're going to be putting up stuff about healthy food. So go ahead.
Okay. See, do you have that fourth monkey talking about yesterday? I sent an email or not yet?
Doctor, I haven't really been able to check emails. So,
That's okay.
yeah,
we,
sorry.
We can talk about the fourth monkey. You see, the three monkeys are say nothing bad, say no evil, hear no evil, see no evil. And the fourth one I'm going to introduce is eat no evil. Okay. So that's all about good, healthy diet. This is one of the unfortunate time that we are living, that our diets are dominated by the SAD diet. Everywhere you see the SAD diet. What is SAD diet? The standard American diet, full of additives, preservatives, coloring dyes, canned meats, canned fruits, canned vegetables. Anything boxed may have additive preservatives. And you see, food industry, before I talk about what really healthy diet is, first of all, we need to see where we stand. One of the things our industrialization has done is that food industry has put sugar, fat, and salt in the diet so that they become addicting. And that is the basis for making big profits. So I want to get away from the SAD diet, standard American diet, and teach how to eat healthy. And I give you a short course in nutrition, which is the summary of hundreds and thousands of books written on this subject, which boils down to just a few seconds of crash course. Please pay attention to what I'm going to say right now. Eat what will rot and do it before it does. Means fresh meats, fruits, vegetables, grain, green beans. Now I want to give you a more detailed, practical ways of improving your diet and getting the junk out of your diet. Number one is don't stop thinking in terms of hamburgers, pies, and fries. Start thinking basic. Think how various foods come. Well, the first category is meats, okay? So you can have meats of all kinds, fresh meats, avoid the processed meats and hot dogs and all the processed meats which have corn, sugar, and other stuff in there you should avoid. So think about fresh meats in the form of beef, in the form of chicken, in the form of fish, in the form of duck, in the form of honey, guinea hen, and so on and so forth. There's so many fish around. So the first thing is fresh meats. Number two, think about the foods come in vegetables. So you can have vegetables of all kinds, like, for example, lettuce, tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, all beans, lentils, spinach, sweet chard, barley, etc., etc. So the second thing is think about how the fresh vegetables come. Frozen, okay too, but canned vegetables and meats, no. Okay. The third category is the fruits. So you can have fruits of all kinds, like dates, grapes, pineapple, orange, apples, pear, strawberry, raspberry, and so on, so forth. So there's no restriction. Now, you see, what happens is, you may say, okay, I'm going to have a peach, you see, canned peach. Well, it was a good food by putting sugar in the canned peach, they have converted into a junk food. That's why the fresh fruits or vegetables are much better. The fourth category of the food comes as nuts. So you can have nuts of all kinds. You can have almonds, walnuts, pecan, filberts, and so on and so forth. So you can have nuts of all kinds, unprocessed, out of the shell. You can use all them. Then another very important. This is the part of the industrialization which has caused so much cardiovascular disease and other disease, and that is the damaged oils. So, what have you ever heard the term called? If you read on the food labels, it labels as partially hydrogenated oils. You know what that partially hydrogenated oil mean? I'll explain to you. You see, what they do is they take an oil, raise it to 1,000 degrees, and put hydrogen through it. If they put too much hydrogen through that, it becomes fully solidified like viscose shortening or margarine. On the other hand, if they don't hydrogenate too much, it stays in the liquid form. You can say, well, it's still an oil. Yes, oil is an oil. So what's the problem? The problem in here, this is critical to understand. The problem in here is that by heating the oil to 1,000 degrees and putting hydrogen through that, it twists the fat molecule. You see, now this fat molecule cannot sit well in cell membranes, and the fats are essential part of all the cell membranes. So when that happens, cell walls become damaged. Now, there's a fad in diet. They say we want to be off. I want to be on fat-free diet to lose my weight. That's one of the most unhealthy diet can be. You need fats. Fats is an essential part of your body, so you cannot eliminate fat. But what you need to do is have the healthy fat. So this hydrogenation, if I give you an imagination, I said a twist of molecule. If you imagine, if I asked you, as most of you right now may be sitting, and I ask you, what are you doing right now? So, well, I'm sitting. Okay, all right, you're sitting on a chair. If I turn the chair upside down, it's still a chair. You see any problem in sitting in that chair? If you keep sitting in that chair for 20, 30 years, is it possible for you to bruise your butt? Yes, certainly. The same way, these damaged oils, over a period of time, cause all sorts of physical and mental ailments because fat is an essential part of the vascular system. I mean, all cells, and also part of brain, because brain is fat. So, but out of this cardiovascular system is one of the most important, affected by damaging, causing coronary artery disease, causing hypertension, and all of the associated problems associated with that. So what kind of oils would you have? What you should do is have oils that are cold pressed and not processed. What does that mean? That means you take a seed and just squeeze it, and you take the oil that's called cold pressed. You're not chemically doing anything. The name of the oil doesn't mean that much. You can have olive oil. All olive oils cannot be hydrogenated, and they're all cold pressed. So if you just blindly pick up olive oil, you're 100% right. Yes. In addition, you can have sunflower oil, safflower oil, almond oil, walnut oil, and there's so many different kinds of oils. One company there are two companies that make specially these cold press oils. Those are called, one is Hain, H-A-I-N, Hain company, and the other one is Spectrum. You can usually get these cold press oils at a grocery store or a health food store. So it's not difficult, but you should know that what fats are healthy and how you should, how to procure them, you see. Now, Next thing comes is the cereals. Well, you can have cereals of all kinds. You can have wheat, rice, oatmeal, and many other cereals, except that when you have the cereal box, that has got sugar in it, that got corn sugar in it, that got additives, coloring dyes, all those loops, kids entice. It's just a very sad situation that our food industry has made good food into really, really bad food. Okay. So the next category of the foods comes is the herbs and spices. That's the most amazing part of our food, because not only herbs and spices make our food delicious, but they are concentrated sources of many phytochemicals, which are essential for our nutrition. But when those details right now. The next thing comes is the milk and milk products. Yeah, you can have milk and milk products, but don't have too much in it, because physiologically we are not attuned to have milk and milk products the rest of our life. Because think about, no animal drinks milk after infancy. So milk is not except man and the domestic cat. So it shows that milk is not essential for, and there are multiple problems with having milk as a major part of your diet. I'm not asking that you should eliminate it completely, but instead that it should not be I drink 2 glasses of milk a day, that's just too much. Or even 1 glass of milk a day is too much. You can have in your prepared food and things like that. And I will. This was a very interesting book, which a pediatric professor wrote. Says, don't drink your milk, and in that he gives multiple reasons. One is, hey, milk is 90% water. Okay, if you want to buy water and milk prices, that's your own problem. Okay. Number 2, it has got protein, and a lot of people are sensitive to protein. That's the milk sensitivity. Then the next thing it has is the milk sugar. Many people are intolerant to that. They get abdominal pain, cramping, diarrhea. That's the lactose intolerance. And then the saturated fats in that, they cause heart, the arteries. So there is practically no reason to have milk. Oh, no. There's another reason to have milk. What's that? Because of calcium. Well,
okay, we got to take a phone call now. Let's do that right now, and then we'll come back to this, inshallah. Okay, salam alaikum, caller.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you doing, Ya Sheikh?
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, my name is Amir, and I'm calling from Loudoun County. So I had a question for the doctor.
Okay.
Okay. My question is, I got my second Pfizer. I'm a public school teacher, and I got my second Pfizer shot on January the 29th. And our school starts on March the 2nd. So I wanted to know, how many days do I have to wait after the second Pfizer shot for it to be effective? I mean, it's 1 month good? How long does it take?
Actually, the data on that, if you let me jump in, after the first dose, the majority of your immune response.
Wait a minute, doctor is talking. He can't hear you while he's talking. Okay, he's just telling us about the first dose, and he heard you say the second dose. So I'm sure it's okay. All right, go ahead, doctor.
So the first dose takes about 21 days after the first dose to kick in. Once it gets to that point, you will have more than 90% of the immune response built in. Then you have the second dose that kind of boosted up to close to 95% or so, as reported, both in the Moderna as well as the Pfizer vaccine. So you should be good at this point. Unless there is in this area where you are, locality, there is a new spread of a variant that's becoming concern within local public health concern within the area that you're living in. But that would be decided by the local authorities on how to best handle that. Again, like you heard, the best long-term policy and strategy should build your immune system by proper nutrition, by keeping your body strong, because this may be a long haul. We don't know long-term efficacy. We don't know if the vaccine can prevent infection. So all the precautions will continue to exist for a while. I'm talking about the mask. I'm talking about social distancing, the hygiene, the whole bit. And that's what you should be, probably your. But once you have 2 doses, I think you're okay. And then you just have to keep on building immune system: black seed, honey, ginger, lemon, and sun exposure if you can, 30 minutes. Walking, balanced diet. Mental health and spiritual health will help, along with exercise and so on. All this combined together, and remembrance of Allah and making dua. If you somebody say the prescription, I heard it today. Bismillah alladhi la yadurru ma'a ismihi shay'un fil ard wa la fis sama' wa huwa as-sami'ul 'alim. You say this dua 3 times every day. You're gold. You're golden. You got an ultimate 24-hour protection. You say Bismillah in the name of Allah, that no harm will touch you in the heaven or the earth, and He's the well knowing and He's the best seeing. If you do that and take your precautions, you should be all set.
All right. MashaAllah. Thank you so much. That was Dr. Adil. And we'll now go back to Dr. Sultan, who is telling us about it. Dr. Sultan, Salaam Alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm glad that this call was taken care of.
You were telling us about milk.
Milk, yes, right. So we were talking about that, milk is.
Oh, we got another caller. Let's take another caller. Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
MashaAllah. Tell us who you are and where you're calling from.
Well, this is Emily from Iowa.
Sister Emily, how are you? How are you? How's everything?
Well,
how's it?
It was -27 in Iowa this morning.
27, huh? Well, you got a heat spell, huh?
27 below.
Oh, 27 below. Okay. Yeah. All right. It's time to get out the ice skates.
Yeah. So I was just listening to all this stuff about COVID and building up your immune system.
Uh-huh.
And there's a huge and I'm sure the other doctors can attest to this. There's a huge this gut-brain axis that you have a lot of serotonin receptors in your gut. That's what causes, like, if you have depression or anxiety, that's what the antidepressants kind of help to treat the lack of serotonin. You have an imbalance in serotonin, okay? And so that's when you feel anxiety, you kind of get this upset stomach, and you know what I mean?
I have no idea what you mean, because I'm not a doctor, but we have 2 doctors right here. Let's put you in touch with Dr. Sultan. Yeah. Let me put him up here. Dr. Sultan, she's talking to you now.
Okay. What you're partially, because it wasn't loud enough, but I'm just trying to rephrase your question and see if I understood correctly, okay? You are saying that if somebody has depression and also has digestive problems and stuff like that, that is part of the serotonin problem, serotonin deficiency. Is that the question you have?
Well, I'm just saying that. So I have 11 months to go before I graduate my psychiatry residency.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. So what I'm saying is that your GI system, especially your intestines, are like a second brain, basically. So you have serotonin receptors down there, and And that's
Yeah.
why when you're feeling anxious or something, you feel like butterflies in your stomach, or you feel kind of sick to your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
But what you guys were talking about with increasing immunity or getting your immune system primed is what's been researched recently. You know, with the COVID and all of the psychiatric problems that are coming along with this, is that in order to improve your mental health, because your gut is your second brain, is that you should be eating whole food, less processed food, more natural, and be drinking lots of water, because and be getting a lot of good sleep, and getting vitamin D and all that. But I'm just agreeing with you that everything you're saying is exactly right, especially for mental health too. Not just mental health is physical health, but that it's all part of a good system that you need to have to keep your body moving or healthy, to stay away from the sugar, especially the processed sugar, the granular sugar or added sugar.
Well, you know what? We've got, it looks like we've got 3 doctors here, and I don't know if I'm any use of this except playing the switch guy. But I think
I'll answer this, because this subject is very close and dear to me. Okay, so I understand correctly. You're a physician and you're a psychiatrist. You see, okay. Now my field, my field is environmental medicine, and one of the greatest discoveries made in the field of environmental medicine is, contrary to the usual belief, most mental symptomatology, I'm talking about the serious kind, results from physical causes and not psychological causes. So we see in our allergy practice, what the hell allergies have to do with the depression, anxiety, and memory problem, and concentration problem, and mood swings, and OCD, and hyperactivity in kids, and so on and so forth. Well, the common thing is that most of the environmental factors, what you eat, what you breathe, what you come in contact with, your nutritional status, your hormone, for example, that low thyroid is an important cause for depression. So just one of the endocrine problems. Now, a couple of other endocrine problems, that women, in premenstrual phase, they go through premenstrual headache, depression, anxiety, all that stuff. That's the effect of hormone on the brain. And similarly, when women become menopausal, then they have symptoms of poor memory and poor concentration and fixed ideas and so on and so forth. So I'm just giving you a few endocrine examples that how the mental symptomology may come on. And there is a very important gut-brain connection. What you're talking about is the biochemistry of it. What I'm going to talk about right now is the actual causes that affect the gut-brain system, which causes a lot of digestive problem and as well as the brain problem. Now, if you carefully examine your psychiatric patients and ask them about their digestive complaints like constipation, diarrhea, gas, belching, bloating, indigestion, heartburn, you will find abdominal pain. You will find a great number of them have those symptoms, but because our medical system has become organ-oriented, so psychiatrists will ask only brain symptoms, the gastroenterologist will ask only digestive symptoms, and so on and so forth. So there's a dichotomy in here that no one looks at the patient as a whole. But if you look at the patient as a whole, then you will find the environmental, nutritional, and dietary and hormonal factors affect both the gut and as the brain. Now, I'll give you one very important physical cause, which I believe, or my experience, is the single most important cause for a lot of mental symptomatology, and that is SIFO, small intestinal fungal overgrowth. You see, because of antibiotics, birth control pills, inappropriate diet, high in sugar, the good bacteria die, bad bacteria, fungi take over. I'm just giving a very simple layman's language using instead of high-tech medical language that most of the listeners may be not in tune with. So that's why I'm just using very, very simple language. Okay, so as a result of that, it affects the digestive area and in the brain area, you see, because the yeast is normally present in the digestive area. So you will see these digestive symptoms and the toxins getting from the fungal overgrowth affects the brain. Another thing, in women, you will also see, if you see your women with mental symptomatology, if you take a careful history, you may find that they often have symptoms like vaginal yeast infections, vaginal discharge, younger women, premenstrual headaches, premenstrual depression, irritability, premenstrual mood swing, premenstrual bloating, premenstrual fluid retention. And many times you will find that they have the risk factors, like they've taken a lot of antibiotics or they've taken birth control pills. So this is a little primer I've given you as the causes for mental symptomatology. There's something we can, if you're interested, you can get my number from Chef Yusuf, and we can talk a lot more in detail.
I've seen this in my patients, and I just wanted to mention that this is I'm trained as an osteopath. I'm an osteopathic physician. For anybody watching that doesn't know, it's basically we're able to practice medicine just like MDs are. The letters after our name are DO. It's becoming basically the same thing as an MD. But our training, we were taught that the patient, we should see the patient as a whole, but not as just an organ system, because everything works together. But I was just going to mention, when you were talking about antibiotics, or like one course of antibiotics, that can wipe out the good bacteria in your gut. I mean, the microbiome, that not all the good bacteria in your gut, but it takes about 6 months for you to for your gut microbiome to regenerate. And you can sometimes you can speed that up as long as you eat like a lot of fiber and yogurt and stuff like that. Like probiotics or studies are pretty much equivocal, but definitely I've noticed there's a whole like people with depression. They have completely random aches and pains all over that once you treat their depression and get them into therapy, these things go away. And it's very interesting. And I think that, I think that psychiatry is going to become pretty, we're kind of the redheaded stepchild of medicine, but I think we're going to become more relevant soon. But I heard that one of the two doctors on here are from St. Louis.
I'm from St. Louis.
So I just moved back to Iowa from St. Louis. Which hospital are you at?
Well, I'm in my private practice, and if you're from St. Louis, my office is on Dallas Road, Highway 40, and Dallas Road at 64 and 40.
Okay, yeah. No, do you have someone related to you that works in the hospital or consult?
No, I didn't understand your question.
His wife is
do you
also a doctor.
Yeah, my wife is infectious diseases, but she's at WashU. She's at Washington University.
Oh,
She,
awesome. I have brain cancer, and so I had my surgery and all of my radiation, my chemotherapy treatment all through WashU. So I am well acquainted with WashU, and I will trust them with anything. So
very good. Yeah, one comment I will make is you said it 100% correctly, and that's why I've got a lot of respect for DOs, because they're taught to treat patients holistically. And if you have not said that, I would have said that you took words from my mouth, saying that I like DOs because they look at the patient more holistically. Another very important thing, which think about what I would say is that you said the right thing, how to replenish gut bacteria and stuff like that. But the most important thing, you will see dramatic improvement in your likely to see in your mental patients if you use an antifungal medication like nystatin or fluconazole. Amazing results in mental illness. Within 1, 2, 3 months, you can see a significant difference.
definitely.
Sister Emily, I may want to add to Dr. Sultan, it's Dr. Aldin here in Florida, 2 important things that will help with the serotonin as well as the endorphins, which obviously help to elevate the mood and help with depression. The natural things that God has given us through the prayer, especially during the time of frustration, fasting, reading Quran, and meditation. But also in the part of the Sunnah of our Prophet, beloved Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the natural therapy that saffron, that works just as imipramine or any antidepressant with natural without side effects, and also custis. And those are very important and potent antidepressant and natural and part of the Sunnah of our beloved Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So I just wanted to throw that in, so you have the entire spectrum of things can help people, because a lot of people need help these days.
It's very interesting because, especially with the fasting, now the quote fad diet is intermittent fasting, which Allah had prescribed that for everybody. Sorry, I'm a convert, so I've only been.
Sister Emily, mashallah, has become a Muslim, and she's doing a good job of it right now. One of the things that we are very happy to have you on tonight with us, Sister Emily, is because it shows that a lot of people are coming to Islam that are in the capacity or in the area of medical fields, as well as other very prominent fields. But right now we've got to take a short break, and we'll be right back right after this. So everybody stay tuned and stay guided. And this is how you can watch Guidus TV.
Here are some ways to get Guidus TV. Via satellite on Galaxy 19 FTA. At this satellite frequency, transponder rate 5, frequency 11836 MHz, polarity vertical, symbol rate 20770, FEC 3/4, channel ID, Guide US TV. You can also download the app to your smartphone. Available for iPhones from the App Store, for Android on Google Play. And now Guidus TV is available on Roku. Get guided with Guidus TV.
And we're back. So see, that wasn't very long, folks. Now we have 3 doctors with us tonight. Yes, that's right. We have Dr. Sultan, who's with us let's put him up. First of all, Dr. Adel. Here's Dr. Adel, and give us a big wave. Assalamu alaikum, mashallah. And we have Dr. Sultan, mashallah, assalamu alaikum. And we also have on the phone with us, we have Emily, Dr. Emily. I'll just call you that until you get your full certificate. How about that?
I'm a physician. I just haven't gotten my my psychiatry residency finished yet. So.
Mashallah, mashallah. And by the way, Sister Emily is a new convert to Islam. So how long have you been a Muslim now, sister?
I took my Shahada on January 18th, 2018.
2018, 2 years and a month. Ah, okay. MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
3 years.
3. Oh, yeah, that's right. This is 2021. Wow, I blew a whole year away somewhere. 3 years.
That's fine. I think last year anybody wants to...
Yeah, last year, who needs it? Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. MashaAllah. Okay, so now anybody else would like to call in, I'd have to put Sister Emily on hold. Let's go. Yeah, let's move forward. Sister, you were telling us about something, and Dr. Adel was sharing with you some. I'll let you guys get back to it right now.
I don't recall what we were talking about really.
National antidepressant therapy.
All right. So, well, I think Doctor was kind of going along with what you were saying, and you were going along with what he was saying, and we got a lot of information about our guts. and then I think it takes a whole lot of guts to call in. So anybody would like to call in,
Well, I've had, because of my surgery, I have a chronic intractable migraine. So I've missed my migraine shots the past month because of weather. So
talk to me about your migraine later on, okay?
I've been having migraines the entire.
Yeah, talk to me about your migraine. I'll talk to you.
Yeah, Dr. Sultan is saying that. Well, I'll let him tell you. Go ahead, doctor.
Yeah, what I was saying was migraine is one of my favorite things to treat. So after we're done with that, you stay on here. At the end, I will give you my phone number, and then we can chat on this general and also about your health issues too. Okay?
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
Well, I've got a question about migraines. All right, because I've had people tell me that if you drink too much coffee, it will give you migraines. And I love this coffee, and I don't know what I would do without it. I don't want to be without my coffee. But other people told me that they drink coffee, but then when they stop drinking it, they get migraines. Is there any truth to any of this?
Either way.
Huh? Well, let me ask Dr. Sultan, what have you got on that?
Yes, there's absolute truth in that, because when we talk about food sensitivity, really we are talking about food addiction, okay? Addiction, because it's close to Sister Emily, that addiction has two phases. One is a stimulatory phase, the other one is the withdrawal phase, you see. So when you start drinking tea, it's one of the most common drug addiction there is in the world, okay? So when you start drinking it, initially you're okay, gives you a little upper. So when it comes down, you have it give you upper. As the time passes by, you get more and withdrawal and don't get that upper from that. So you need more and more coffee, like instead of 2 cups of coffee, now you need 4 cups of coffee. And then there should be that relatively symptom-free phase. eventually it gets so much that even if you have 10 cups of coffee, you're so much down that you start having your symptoms. It doesn't get you into that symptom-free phase. So that is when a person may come and say, Doc, I'm having headaches for 5 years, but the person is 40 years old, but when you're done drinking coffee, well, at the age of 15. So the problem has gone on for 25 years, or only 5 years is when the body cannot adapt anymore and it remains continuously in the withdrawal phase and then start having symptoms. So the key to drop addiction is get off the food completely. In 4 or 5 days, the addictant will be gone from the system, for example, coffee in this case. And then whatever withdrawal symptom you get, it's not everyone gets headache. Somebody can get fatigue. Somebody can get headache. Somebody may not feel well, may have low energy. But whatever symptoms of withdrawal are, if you get off it completely, cutting down does not work. You have to cut out completely. It takes 4 or 5 days. If it's, well, I'm going to cut down on this one, well, the small amount of food staying in the system, keep in the withdrawal stage. That same thing applies to alcohol also. This is the same mechanism. That is stage in the withdrawal stage, you're more likely to get back to your addiction again. So the way to break the addiction cycle is completely get off it. 4 or 5 days, you'll be cleanly out. See, this is one of the very big exploitation done by the industry. For example, tobacco industry. You see, they say, okay, don't tell people quit smoking completely right away. You know, it takes 4 or 5 years to get out of the system. They say, well, you can have Nicorette gum, you can have Nicorette patch, so on and so forth. That keeps you in the withdrawal phase, and you're more likely to relapse. But and that way, a lot of money is made on these gums and other stuff. But on the other hand, if you stop it 4 or 5 days of your system, addiction is gone. You feel much better. So this is a subject very close to my heart.
Yes, and sometimes I know people have different triggers for migraine, but for a coffee withdrawal headache, withdrawal headaches, they feel completely different. But sometimes with a certain percentage of migraine sufferers, a little caffeine does help reduce the pain. That's why over-the-counter, like Excedrin, has a little bit of caffeine in it, but not anything like coffee. But it also depends. I've read some research on the way your liver metabolizes it. Some people are fast metabolizers of coffee, and so it doesn't stay in their system very long. And then some people are slow metabolizers. This is just stuff I've been reading recently.
Yes, so. You're 100% right. But you know, the point in here is that you have to look. For example, migraine headache is one of the most classical diseases in which you should look comprehensively from environmental point of view. Things you eat, things you breathe, things you come in contact with. Food allergies, one of the major things. Number 2, mineral deficiency, especially magnesium, is very critical in migraine headaches. In my experience, practically, when you look comprehensively, practically every migraine headache gets better. I got a young lady I consulted with her today. We have taken care of everything, and she was still having premenstrual headaches. So we saw that she had problem with low hormones. So I put her on estrogen and progesterone, and she said this is the first 1 month that I had absolutely no headaches. You did what you did. I still used to get premenstrual headaches, but when you added hormones to it, my headaches went away. So you see, you have to have a...
Yeah, there are so many different triggers. You just have to look at when they happen and what's going on around you. I mean, it takes forever to kind of figure that kind of stuff out. You're right in one sense. But if you take a systematic approach, within a few months, you can figure out all the triggers, because especially, I'm not talking about food sensitivity.
See, food sensitivity is of two types. One is easy to recognize. You eat strawberries, you wake up high, you eat fish, your face swell up. You do not need to go to the doctor to make the diagnosis. You know it yourself. So that's not what we are concerned with. What we are concerned with is the hidden or subtle form, where you can keep food diary, blah, blah, blah. Nothing gives you good relation. Because let's say you eat one food today, for example, you have milk today, but you may get headache 3 days later. There's no way of knowing for you the association. So therefore, you have to specifically test. So in a migraine headache patient, I will especially, does this person have hidden food sensitivity? Test. If it is positive, if it's there, you'll find it. If it's not there, you'll find that no, there was no food sensitivity in there. So you move forward to the other causes for headaches.
But as far as caffeine goes, going back to that, we can go on forever about migraines. It is an addictive chemical. I think the number one is nicotine. Number two is caffeine, and most addictive substances. But the only one that is dangerous, that's life-threatening to quit, is alcohol. And because you can go into, you can have a seizure. If you're drinking a lot and then you stop suddenly, you can have seizures. You can have problems with your brain bleeding. That's why it's so dangerous. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Allah prohibits it.
You know, it will be a very good subject for us to next time or sometime in the near future to discuss real nature of addiction, because addiction is the basis of a lot of chronic illness. It's not just drug addiction, alcohol addiction, blah blah, but addictions of carbs, addictions of sugars, addiction of alcohol, addiction of caffeine, of chocolate, and so on and so forth, and of course prescription drugs. All these are the complex of addiction, and there are basic their physiology, and understanding that physiology, only understanding that physiology will help you get off addictions quickly. Part of the physiology I already talked about was that whatever your addiction is, you got to get it out of completely from your diet, and within 4 or 5 days it is out of the system. So I will prepare this subject on addiction. We'll talk about it at the next week or whatever.
Inshallah ta'ala, yes.
Yeah.
I think we a little bit different tonight. We're spending a lot of time with Dr. Sultan, and that's good. And but I'm sure that I want to be sure that Dr. Adil doesn't fall asleep. Salaam alaikum.
No, mashallah, Dr. Sultan is doing a great job, and it seems like this stuff is you cannot talk enough about. That it's affecting everybody on a regular basis, every day.
Well, now we've been talking about substance abuse more or less, but there are other things that people can be addicted to. Is that right or wrong?
That's 100% right. Sorry, I took your turn. Okay.
No, anybody can answer questions, no problem.
Yeah, no, I can go into addiction as much. That's
no, sister, we don't want you to go into addiction right now. You don't need to be addicted to anything.
No, I speak about addiction. It's a whole section of specialty in psychiatry.
Yeah, well, you know what? That would be an interesting program, I think, to talk about some of the things that, especially when you get into the physical aspects of what addiction can mean, because the brain will tell you that you got to do this, you have to do that, you have to do so and so. And I think whenever we're talking about Islam, that this is something very, very important, because there are things that we have to do as a Muslim, and then we get challenged by something in our head that says, no, you don't do that. You don't have to do that. And yet something is telling me in my head I really have to do that. So I got this fight going on in my head about whether I should do this or not do this, and whether it's a positive or negative thing. So I think that it really is important for a Muslim especially to know what Islam is teaching us. Therefore, your creator, your sustainer, the one who's taking care of you all the time, can give you the influence of going the right direction at least. And that's why we always like to say, Ihdina Siratul Mustaqim, guide us to the straight way, the straight path. Is that right, Doctor?
Yes, absolutely. And there's other good addictions. If you are, for instance, addicted to waking up the last third of the night for tahajjud prayer, no matter how late you go to bed, obviously you like to go early, but sometimes if you are used to that and you do it on a regular basis, there's like a built-in, almost a biological clock that will wake you up. And this is a blessing from God, because not everybody.
Actually, we're almost out of time. I wanted to stay general on this because I think that this could be really a great program to us to break down and go into details on this, because some of the things that are perpetuated within Islam could be something that you all three of you doctors could help us with, especially when we're talking about the brain or the psyche behind what we're doing. And there are a lot of things that are clear as a bell that we should stay away from, and things that we should endeavor to do as much as we can. But yet the brain kind of overrides all of that and tells us, nah, go the other way. And that's one of the weird things that we all face every day. And I think that's a great program to have about the choices we make. MashaAllah.
Bad addiction versus good addiction.
Well, yeah, that's a good name for the program. Bad addictions, good addictions. I don't know. What do you think about that, Dr. Adil?
I believe that the human being is an animal of habit. So if you habituate a person for good, it'll always will do good. And even if you deviate, you'll come back to it because you're well trained, and vice versa.
Okay, well, Dr. Sultan, what would you say about that? The idea of such a program, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm talking about the substance abuse, substance addiction. We are talking about religious addiction. Those are different things. Those are by choice. Okay.
Well, all right. That's time for us to wrap everything up, and I think this is a good chance for us to do it. Sister Emily, you don't know how much you contributed to our program tonight. Thank you so much for calling in. Jazakallah khair. Thank you, sister. And thank you, Dr. Sultan, for being with us tonight. And also Dr. Adil. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi barakatuh.
Yeah. Dr. Emily wanted my phone number, so when we're done with...
Yeah. Stay on the line, Doctor, and we're going to...
Okay.
Yeah, everybody stay on the line with us as we go off the air. One thing I want to assure everybody about, and that is, if you stay guided with Guidance TV, there's a good chance you'll be guided the right way. So everybody stay guided with
Guidance TV.
Guidance TV.
Wow, she came out loud and clear, guys. Whoa, look at that. Oh, much.
3+ years.
All right, there you go. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi barakatuh. Can you imagine? It's our 10th anniversary. Guidance TV on the air for 10 years already. Wow. And we want to keep going and growing. And how you can do that? Join us. Be part of what we are doing with Recite on TV, Bridge to Faith, Simple Reminders with Abu Hafsa, all of these great programs and more coming to you 24 hours a day, no commercials, no advertising, just pure Islam.